the stories concerning the PDP. Now, I've got two. My first big story is talking about the showdown between the two camps of the PDP. I think we've talked about that before. We've got the Atiku's camp, we've got the Wike's camp. It started during the 2023 general election, and it metamorphosed into, I think, the River State crisis, and it took up of a factionalization of the governors forum of that party. I remember telling you once upon a time that it was, divided equally, but I may have given you a wrong, data, because what I'm seeing is about 6 governors on the side of Atiku, 4 on the side of Wike, 2 are staying neutral, right? So that's how the mathematics is, or the data. But now it's even beyond that, because there is now the factionalization of the National Working Committee. As a matter of fact, I should tell you, from what I've observed, it looks like there are also factions within the Board of Trustees, and it's really getting interesting. Now, will there likely be a National Executive Council meeting in the coming days, like it has been reported? We are yet to see, because last week, things ended in some kind of disarray. On Friday, we saw a court case emanate or emerge in favor of Damagum, saying that nobody, the NEC, the BOT, none of them should lay hands on the leadership or try to do things wrong leadership of the Damagum. I started a suspension of the National Publicity Secretary and the National Legal Advisor. Now, the National Publicity Secretary, Debo, had now responded with a counter suspension of the acting national chairman and the national secretary. Now, the governors, some of them came out and said that they were in support of the suspension of the acting national chairman, Damagum. There was also the talk about the House of Reps supporting the suspension of Damagum. Now, the new acting national chairman, or should I say the factionalized, because that's what it is, the factionalized acting national chairman this morning was reported to have accepted, the call to serve the party, and he says that the reason why he was called was to, bring back hope to the party, and he was going to do the best thing to bring the party back on the right path. He even promised that, he will go back to, I think I saw that he will go back to the North Central. Remember, Ayu was the one who, occupied that position as elected. He's now saying, according to a news headline I saw, calling for names from the North Central. He's asking the North Central to send in nominees. But if I understand correctly, I hear that once there is a problem with the substantive chair, the vice goes into acting, but it's only for 90 days, according to Bode George. I'm not a member of the party, so I'm just going to go with what they have said about the constitution of the PDP. And, Bode George is arguing that it's only for 90 days. However, after that, there has to be, the electoral process for a new and a substantive chairman. However, if they're going to go about appointing a new one in acting capacity, I wonder if that is allowed, if that is legal. But then if it is legal, it means that the new acting chairman will then act until, there is a convention or a congress of some sort. But then, Labour Party coming into view, Abure has been declared the substantive chairman by, the courts. Will all of this play in how the PDP is strengthened or weakened? We do not know, because so many people, even on the show last week, was it on Thursday, I had a guest who said the PDP is being weakened by, the ruling party, so it's not able to play proper opposition. And Fayose, former governor of Ekiti State, did echo that when he said that it will take a miracle to get the PDP back on its feet. And he said that it's an embarrassment, the suspension, counter suspensions happening in the party, and it should not have been. It should not have been. The former publicity secretary was on, I think, TVC, was it today or yesterday? I can't remember now. But he also did say something about the rivers crisis being the reason, or a major reason, not just the only reason, but a major reason why there is the factionalization of the PDP. And so it now comes back to Rivers State. How far are we willing as a people to take this fight? And when I say as a people, it's because we're also divided in camps, right? And there is, even on the show, I've got callers who will call and say they are pro-Wike. I've got callers who will call and say they are pro-Fubara. And even the neutrals who, attempt to be as neutral as I am, they still find themselves tilting, in particular directions. So that's where we are. So how far are we willing to take these political arguments, this political battle, this political issues? How far are we willing to take this? And that's the conversation for my first big story. But let's look at the second big story. Important, still the PDP. Now, by the way, I think not told you the names of the faction. I think for the acting national chairman, it goes by the name Mohammed, right? I think it's Mohammed. I need to check my notes to get the full. But then, something really interesting did happen. I was reading the Tribune newspaper. Okay, you know what? Let's do it one by one. Let's do it the right way. Before I go into my next big stories, I think it's appropriate that I give the right names, the names of the various factions. So the other faction, or rather, in fact, how to even describe this, the political situation in Nigeria makes it really difficult to understand adjectives, right? But this one says the factional acting national chairman goes by the name Yari Mohammed, right? He is the factional, and once again, I've told you that he is being supported by pro-Atiku and some House of Rep members, and they're saying it's the way to go because under the Mugam's watch, the PDP was falling apart. But let's go to the Tribune newspaper right now, where on the Tribune newspaper there is the caption, and I think we're going to talk about it extensively the 4 o'clock hour. Hopefully I will be having the Commissioner for Environment join me. That's if network is stable enough. But yeah, the conversation, the headline, PDP blasts Fubara, says he rejected offer to control river structure. So basically, this conversation about river structure, or this political structure in river states since last year October, would not have been in play or be a thing if the governor had decided to take over the structure. Now, according to this report, that there was the vacancy for who becomes the chairman of the party, and that was a letter was written to the governor, Siminalayi Fubara, His Excellency, saying, hey, we need to fill this position. And he said, you know what, I'm not the one who's going to fill it. Let the SCT minister do that. And, so I guess that's where all of the problem, maybe that contributed to the problem according to this article. But let's read it. He said, contrary to the widespread impression that he was denied control of the structures of the party in Rivers State, the People's Democratic Party has blasted Governor Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State, accusing him of whining after initially rejecting an offer to control the party machinery. Now, the party maintained on Sunday that it had done everything possible for the governor, but he had failed to mobilize his co-governors and the National Working Committee of the party for support. Now, the acting National Publicity Secretary of the party, Ibrahim Abdullahi, who revealed this on Sunday to Tribune Online, recalled that when a vacancy existed for the post of the Rivers State chapter chairman of the party, remember Desmond Akabo filled in that position, but he had to move, to some other appointment. According to the report, the NWC requested Fubara to forward a nominee, but he turned down the chance on the grounds that the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, should provide the nominee. Now, the party spokesman wondered at what point the Rivers governor realized that he had to take control of the party structure in the state. He denied that the national leadership of the party had taken side with the former Rivers State governor against the incumbent. Now, asked why the PDP could not support Governor Fubara in a struggle with Wike for the control of Rivers, PDP explained, and I quote what the newspaper is quoting. He said, it is a very, very long story that we will not be able to make sense of now. The kind of opportunity given to Fubara by this party is the sort that you never imagine exists from any political party to any of its members, not a governor, not a president. It is the sort that you would not believe any member will enjoy. Any person, no matter his status, whether in former president, because if I start now talking, I will dig out what we have been keeping in the cooler. The opportunities, the chances, the repeated chances given to this governor for him to take the leadership and take control of the structure. He was the first person that came to meet this NWC when they requested for the replacement of the state chairman of the PDP. He said, no. Nobody should call him, that they should call Oga in Abuja. Let Oga give the person. Anyone Oga gives is comfortable. This was the beginning of the whole of this problem. He was the one who said he cannot take decisions when Nyesom Wike is still alive. That was before the relationship went sour. So at what point did he now stop recognizing him as boss, that he started talking or started taking all of the decisions? See why we don't need to delve too much into the back and forth of a river state. What is important is that at the point that we've reached now, the summary of it is that
for more talk, news and sports, stay tuned to now.
is sitting on that same saddle now, and yet you cannot be able to rally his colleagues, governors behind him. He cannot be able to hold the National Working Committee to identify with him just because his predecessor is a minister in Abuja. All of us, we thought he was worthy of the attention, but the more you look, the less you understand. You can't be crying like a baby all the time. You cannot provide leadership. Fight it out. All right. So it really is getting interesting, and that's why once again we will be looking at the fate of the PDP, the 4 o'clock hour. But I'd like to get your thoughts on that one. I would like to hear, what you think. It was a longer read, but it was worth it. I think I saw somewhere where there's even the talk about a possible disciplinary committee to look into the activities of the governor, anti-party and all of that stuff. Even, of course, the ex-governor as well. But what are your thoughts as it relates to that one? But let's quickly look at my last big story. I wonder where, my resource person for the hour is. I'm going to try to pull a call across to him. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start taking phone calls, getting your thoughts on the first two big stories, and then later, as the show progresses, we will talk about the final big story. By the way, the final big story has got to do with the Super Eagles and their ordeal in Libya. They are currently in Libya. And it looks like it's a tit-for-tat kind of situation. A lot of people are blaming the Buhari administration, rather is it now, the Tinubu administration, saying, look at how low we're falling. Libya is taking an advantage of us. But, it's more than meets the eye. Now, according to reports, that the Libyan team suffered a similar ordeal when they played the Super Eagles a few days, or is it about a week ago? And now they are paying back, but they are paying tenfold. And that's what it is. Now, currently, there is the diplomatic row. I hear the Super Eagles no longer want to play. They want to come home. But even at that, it is a difficulty returning the chartered flight back to the country. I wonder how this will impact the football tournament. Remember, it's a CAF tournament, it's qualification march for a CAF tournament. I don't really have all of the details, but hopefully I'll get my guest coming to the studio very shortly, and we'll talk about all of that. But let's quickly go to the phone lines, you and I. Let's talk about the PDP, first of all, the factionalization. And now we've got a new faction, and even the new faction is going tough on the governor of Rivers State. So what then? I don't know. Let's get your thoughts. 0817-923-0002. 0817 923 0003. 0817 923 0007. Now, use WhatsApp. You could also call me via WhatsApp 0809 0306416. Or better still, just text me via WhatsApp or even use the SMS portal, the same number 0809 0306416. Let's start with Ida from Inkoro. Ida, it's good to have you. Ida, what is on your mind? Tell me.
Everything is going well. I'm very, very happy.
Oh, you're very happy. Why are you very happy?
Yeah, the battle is going to over. From now, the battle will be over.
Okay, the battle will be over. Okay.
Be in charge.
All right.
You see, under the leadership of Magu, we lost 23 LGA to another party, which I'm very, very angry.
All right.
I'm not being winning his own unit. It's more than the local government. The entire state governor, Fubara, with his cannot win. So, only one particular person wants to destroy PDP in Nigeria. It cannot work. But so I'm going to hear good news.
All right. Good news for you, I guess. Good news for. All right, thank you. I've got Braid from Millennium. Braid, welcome. Talk to me, please.
Yeah, greetings to me, Pastor.
Yeah, greetings to you.
Yeah, my take is that the both factions to see how they could be able to form synergy. What we need is a very robust position. And what they are doing will still give back to faction within the DDP. And that will not bring up a good opposition.
All right.
In a democracy we are, if there is no good opposition, who is going to watch the ruling party? Then the ruling party will be doing whatever they feel like.
All right.
Like what we are having as well, Ike. If there is a very robust opposition, that is where the opposition will come out to speak. And the government will also listen to them. Because they are the opposition, whereby they didn't listen to them. Next time, they are going to use that campaign against them. So I think for me, creating different factions here and there, it doesn't make any sense. So blaming captain as faction from the government or this, that. I mean, it's not here or there.
All right.
Should be able to.
All right.
Faction should form a synergy and see how they're going to strive there and come into the problem.
All right. Braid says it needs the opposition to be strengthened so as to ensure that some of the problems bedeviling the country can be tackled with the opposition putting the current government on her toes. But I've got head of sports school Wazobia Info Femi Balogun in the studio. It's good to have you.
It's good to be here.
I mean, is this something to be excited about? What's happening in Libya?
No, it's not.
It's not. On social media, I've been following this story, and it talks. There are talks about the fact that Libya, the players faced a similar issue, on their way to Uyo.
Yeah,
is that a true story?
I like to paint the real picture of what happened.
Okay.
Looking at the NFF statement, the statement put out by the NFF, that's Nigerian Football Federation, and what is happening in Libya.
Okay.
Like I told someone this morning, the Libyan players were not kept in any Nigerian airport for 13 plus hours.
But were they kept in any airport?
Now, according to the NFF statement and according to what happened, Libya chartered their own private jets from Libya down to Nigeria. They were supposed to land in Uyo. Necessary arrangements were made for them to land in Uyo. There's supposed to be customs, immigration, to screen them. They just can't walk into the country like that. So all of those arrangements were supposed to be made for them to be in Uyo. And then, according to the NFF statement, when they had the call with their counterparts from the Libyan Football Federation, LFF, on Monday, no time did they mention that we would be coming to Nigeria on Tuesday. But they already had plans in mind already on ground in case the Libyans arrived. So they had the early party from Libya had just come into the country and told them about 1 hour after the private jet for the Libyans had left Libya, that the guys are already on their way and they're going to be landing in Port Harcourt. And they were like, okay, no, that's not the arrangement. You're not supposed to be landing in Port Harcourt. You're supposed to be landing in Uyo.
So the flight complications started from Libya.
It started from Libya.
Interesting.
The flight complications started from Libya. So they landed in Port Harcourt, spent some hours in the airport in Port Harcourt. Because even when they, according to the NFF, when they had the communications, okay, no, don't land in Port Harcourt, come to Uyo. The NFF is saying the Libyans didn't want to spend so much money coming to Uyo, moving down to Uyo, so they opted for Port Harcourt, just land in Port Harcourt, since they're using a chartered aircraft. So they landed in Port Harcourt, and they had to move. The NFF said they had to make quick arrangement, get some approvals from the authority to have something set up in Port Harcourt that would screen these guys, check all of them and make things really, really smooth for them. When all that was done, they were now supposed to be put in a vehicle. The NFF said the Libyans refused the vehicle provided by the NFF and opted to hire their own vehicles.
When we say the NFF, sometimes how these things are.
Yeah.
Are they? I mean, this is hard facts. I'm sorry. Are they facts to some of the things the NFF has said?
Well, when you look at the bus that was used in conveying the players within Uyo from the stadium to their hotel, was a fantastic bus.
So it means that the slight disruption to arrangements may have, caused
it may have caused that
gap.
Yes, that gap. So a bus was provided. According to the NFF, they said the Libyans refused that bus. They opted to hire their own bus. The Libyans are saying the bus that we hired or the bus we used to Uyo had no AC. The Libyans are saying they had no security from Port Harcourt to Uyo, and they spent, was it 5 or 6 hours from Port Harcourt to Uyo?
That's like if you put LMA access into consideration, that's like
I don't think you spend up to that amount.
Okay.
It depends on where.
Okay.
I don't know what route they took.
Okay.
I actually have no idea what route they took. If they went the Ogoni route or they went through the Abia State
that's
route.
what I'm feeling like they went through.
The Libyans talked about passing through bushes, about passing through bad road. They talked about Nigeria putting them through all of that. And then for the NFF, they're saying, no, we provided you with security. The guys that were in front and the guys that were behind you, they're all security personnel. And they had every tool that will aid them to secure you from Port Harcourt to Uyo. And once they were brought to Uyo, they were given a good hotel. Though they had some issues with the hotel, according to some persons there. I wouldn't go into mentioning some of the hotels, but they're some of the best hotels you could find in the country.
So now, what's the situation? Are we having the Super Eagles playing the match today or tomorrow, or they're coming back home?
The Super Eagles are on their way back from Libya as we speak. They should be in the country in the next few minutes or hours. They should be in Nigeria.
So what then happened? Forfeit the match, lose 3 points. What is CAF saying about it?
We're waiting for CAF's statement. But the first things that happen in situations like this is Libya getting 3 points and 3 goals. It will be the Super Eagles forfeiting the game. Libya getting 3 points and 3 goals. Because according to the sports minister this morning, he says he's been on a call with the NFF, with the CAF president. And the CAF president is still trying to push and plead for the game to go on tomorrow. About the Nigerian contingent are saying we need lives first. We care about our players. Some of the club sides that Nigerian players are playing for, they've already started sending private jets to Libya. Unfortunately, they can't land in that airport. Some of the private jets landing in Tripoli, in Benghazi, to pick their players. Everyone wants to protect the goose that lays the golden egg. Of course. Lives first, the players first. And some of the players have been tweeting, the likes of Bruno Yemechi, Moses Simon. They don't want to play a game. They just want to go back home.
Even Boniface.
Even Victor Boniface. They want to go back home. So they had that whole issue also trying to leave Libya because Libya refused to clear the Nigerian chartered plane to leave Libya. As of 1:30 this afternoon, Nigeria was still in Libya waiting to get that clearance. They were waiting to buy aviation fuel. Now, according to some persons close to the Super Eagles, they said the Libyans now sold the aviation for 5 times the normal price to Nigeria.
So now the question is, how does this affect, the tournament? It's supposed to be an African qualifier.
Yeah, it's qualifiers for the African competition.
So how does this affect it? Because, once again, we're told football unites Africa.
Yeah, it does. The way it affects it is if CAF decides to go for a rescheduling, it might affect some of the windows and how everything is arranged. If CAF decides to say, okay, we don't want anyone to forfeit this game, we're going to pick another FIFA free window for you to play that game. That's how it affected. Maybe a window where we're already qualified for the African Cup of Nations and we're supposed to be playing some friendlies and all of that. Will you start to be playing that particular game against Libya? And I'm very sure some of the bigger players might not want to come out for that particular game. So that's how it affected. If we get to walk over, it means we are some points short. All Nigeria needs at the moment is, I think, a win, and we're through to next year's African Cup of Nations. So it means we have to wait for our next game before we can, continue our qualifying.
How many games do we have left?
I think we have, after the Libya game, we have, I think, 2 games left.
Okay, so there's still hope.
Yes,
we know we like to calculate.
Yeah.
But thank you very much, Femi Balogun, for your time. It's good to have you. All right, now we go to the phone lines. We have a full gist of what is happening with the Super Eagles. They are on their way back to the giant of Africa, like we call Nigeria. I wonder if it's so giant now with the treatment we've gotten from Libya. Some were saying, it's a similar treatment. We meted out to Libya. But now the head of sports has clarified that, saying it's not entirely true. The Libyans brought it upon themselves, and now they're paying the Nigerian players back for what they brought upon themselves. Anyways, let's go back to the phone lines. Let's get talking. Let's get your thoughts. 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, and 0817-923-0007. WhatsApp number for WhatsApp calls and WhatsApp messages 0809 030-6416. All right, let's get Emeka's thought. Emeka is calling from Elele. Emeka, greetings to you. Welcome. Let's talk, please.
Thanks. I will still talk about the PDP issue after this post.
Of course you can. It's big stories. Okay. All big stories now. Yeah.
Okay, concerning the Libya and the Nigeria, I think Nigeria. When the Libyans came to Port Harcourt mistakenly, why didn't the NFF put them in a separate in front of you? And that we don't have people from Port Harcourt here to you. And they took them to the road. It's very bad. I'm not happy. They will put them on the behind the airport, yeah. After you pay for them, well, I'm here asking out to you. About this photo. About this photo. Yes, 5 minutes. About this photo, 5 minutes. They took 3 roads, and we have about which I took to Naba or to Ogoni. Those roads are bad. This is bad. I've never said so this is very bad. But I'm angry. We don't have a good road here. If that is very serious, then we need to be not as ourselves. We don't have a good road.
All right. So let's quickly move on now to your next comment, please.
The PDP should have see. We don't have This one is not a man. That one is not.
So for you, Damagum is the acting national chairman, yeah?
Yes.
All right.
And for River State, yeah.
All right.
The governor, they see what he said. When they say he should say the name, he said no, that the ex-minister should send it. What makes it change him? Because he draws as one civil officer.
Emeka, I've got to go. All right. Sorry, the line was not very clear enough. So let's focus on messages and possible WhatsApp calls. If you can't call via WhatsApp, I'd like to hear from you and let's get talking, right? Well, let's see this one. This one says, Canada, greetings. Since the emergence of Damagum as acting national PDP chairman, the party has not been itself. So his suspension will usher in a new PDP that will unite the party to challenge APC in 2027. He said this is the right time to reposition the party. Mark my words, before the next general elections, Damagum and his group will dump PDP for APC. Tango ability at Twigbu. This one says PDP leadership crisis deepens. His factional chairman Ahmed Mohamed accepts appointment. This is a step in the right direction because under the Damagum's PDP has fallen apart and the allies have sold out the PDP. The major opposition political party is going down on a daily basis in Nigeria, and it's high time PDP suspend all those involved in anti-party activities and putting PDP into disrepute. On a clean team West with that one. All right, okay. Newton Ikira says, Great, nice big stories you got today. My take: PDP crisis. Deepens as Pro-Damagum Anti-Wike governors meet today, and the beat goes on. What happened to the disciplinary committee set up to handle Wike's matter? Mere cosmetics. A B. And this one says, PDP blast Fubara says he rejected offer to control river structure. Dear PDP, stop this game of musical chairs. Nigerians are disappointed with you. You have failed. Your support has begun. And then on the NFF withdrawing Super Eagles from AFCON Qualifier, you said, great move. Every small African country thinks they can dance on our heads. Imagine Libya. They actually boasted they will give us this treatment, and they kept their promise. Whoever says we first treated them so is ignorant of the facts. Bring our boys back. The infantry. Okay, bring our boys back, you said. The infantry. New teeny Kira with that one. Lots of messages. Let's look at this one. It is unfortunate that a certain man was given a ministerial appointment to be used as a tool to destabilize the PDP before 2027. The PDP is supposed to be the strongest voice of the opposition in Nigeria, but today the party is becoming the weakest opposition party because one man has been contracted to destroy the party. The court is now open for him. They're giving lands and properties. I'm going to stop there. That's an allegation. But this one says, it is unfortunate that the National Publicity Secretary would come out to sound this way. It was sounding as though he came from space and is completely oblivious of the political unfolding in the river states. Whereas by his past and present position, virtue, he was supposed to have the manual of all that transpired. Worse still, even with the splinter position he's occupying, instead of wooing support for his faction, he started with the war drum. Indeed, cancer has truly infiltrated the PDP. One wonders if it will survive this. Godwin from Chinda. All right, this one says PDP is just a failed party. How can only one man... But it's not only one man that is speaking currently. The couple of people who are talking right now. But you said Libya is just repaying the fruit of a bad governance. Tony with that one. Tony, thank you. This one says, good afternoon, Kada. What is happening in the PDP? Either the after minister's camp or Sims camp has pulled out of the PDP, especially now that the opportunity has come with the suspension and counter-suspensions. However, the PDP have left the sufferings of the people and are battling for power. Sounds like what's happening in the particular state, right? But it's a shame to all these opportunist leaders that never thought they will get where they are. Odimegu Sonny Didia from Omerelu. All right. The phone lines are really terrible. If you can, call via WhatsApp. On Facebook, I have a couple of comments. Stephen Igbudu says greed is the biggest problem of the PDP. Antonio Ogbe says the PDP is fighting a right course. Detractors will be put to shame because the constitution of the party gives the governors the leadership of the party at the state level. Tony Ogbe from Bunny really does it. But Bomat David West, the WhatsApp number once again is 0809 0306416. I take it again, 0809 0306416. You can either send a WhatsApp message or do a WhatsApp call, not a video call, a WhatsApp call, and we will take your thoughts and listen to you. This one says, good afternoon. The PDP is fighting. I think I've read that one. Tony Ogbe, thank you. This one says, the problem in PDP is a calculated plot by the APC to destabilize any opposition force. They used Apapa and Arabambi to destabilize LP, and it is working for them well. You can now see how Tony Okocha suddenly fell in love with the PDP. Wike is really doing a good job for Tinubu and APC. So for the good of Nigeria, LP, PDP, and NPP should, as a matter of urgency, come together now and save Nigeria. All right, okay. Let's see this. Let's see who's here. Oh, but Chima, I can see you call, but it's somewhat difficult to take it. I don't know why. I'm trying to take it. But keep trying to call me via WhatsApp. And this just says, the crisis in the PDP Governors Forum would not know peace unless the former governor of River State, now the Assistant Minister, Wike, is expelled from the party. It will interest you to know that the insect eating the beans is inside the beans, and that is what Wike is doing. He has told you already that he would put fire on 8 states, and if this persists, what fate are they carrying to 2027? Wike must be removed from the beans. Kelvin from Port Harcourt. All right, Kelvin. All right, thank you very much for your thoughts there. Okay, keep those thoughts coming in. Keep those thoughts coming in. And this one says, the acceptance of the new PDP chairman is a welcome development because the Damagum-led NWC was bent on destroying the party. Also, I will call on the Super Eagles and the NFF to return back to Libya and continue with the march if it is true that they first served the Libyans and they treated them unfairly when they were here in Nigeria. This one says, kudos to NWC for removing the Magum. It seems the ruling APC is using members of the PDP as self-agent of destabilization. The better the PDP waits. For NS. Now, I need to say something. Now, even though the Magum stops being acting national chairman, remember, he will return to his former position as vice chairman of the PDP. I think vice chairman North. Is it not? I think so. So, yeah, he will return to that position. So it's not like he's leaving the National Working Committee entirely. He's just not going to be, in that acting position. I'm just saying that so you take note of it, except is removed entirely from the PDP. Or suspended, something like that. All right. Okay, for some reason, Obed, I can't seem to take your calls. All right, let's go back to Facebook and read some messages. The phone lines are not really clear, so I'm trying to dwell on messages. Legit Man in Joko says, greetings KD. The embarrassing situation facing our national team in Libya is getting out of hand, and I think this our so-called nation has no regards anymore in the eyes of other countries due to bad leadership rocking us. Okay. Well, we've been told they are on their way back home. So hopefully things are for the better. Keep your calls coming in. Okay, let's see if I can take this one now. Okay. Obed Chima.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Turn off your radio set, please.
Yes, Canada statement made by the PDP factional spokesperson. Canada, I tell you, I'm not seeing the truth on that statement. A list was surfaced online when the governor was complaining that they omitted names of governor supporters. PDP under the same Damagum, you understand, went ahead and approved the same list. So who are you telling all these ones right now? You understand? I don't understand. We are talking. I'm not talking about the chairmanship position that he talks about. I don't know what transfer and all that. But the one I know is the one I'm talking right now. That has to do with the list where the loyalties of governor, their names were omitted on the list. You understand? The likes of the current commissioner also thereabout, who was a PDP spokesperson in Rivers State here. They removed their names. All the ward executives that are loyal to the governor, their names were removed. So on whose authority? Them. That is the question we must ask. Somebody, the person who interviewed this current the factional spokesperson, they would have asked him this same question: who omitted that list, and why was that list approved?
But
so these are the questions. Honestly, I tell you. So
Obed, if you listened to me read,
I'm hearing you.
If you listen to me read that article, you would hear him say that there are certain things he did not want to mention.
Certain things like what?
Maybe like this question you've asked me, the answer to it.
I'm talking of why do they approve the list for the first time when they know that those loyal to the governors, their names were omitted? So why did they approve the list?
All right.
You understand?
All right.
So that is the thing.
All right. Thank you, Obed. I do think the WhatsApp call is clearer. really, really clear. It's almost time for a commercial break, I do think. Keep trying. Let's do WhatsApp more. Let's do this one. This one says, oh, okay. My goodness. Ogojun Justice, PDP meeting today should determine the most wanted person out of the party today. I wonder what you mean by the most wanted person, but no problem. Let's see. More messages on Facebook. Boma David West, I've given you the WhatsApp number. I said 0809 030 6416. Yobo Calvin Frank says the crisis in the PDP Governors Forum would not know peace unless the former governor. I think I've read that message as well. I've got Nelson Alasia. How would PDP accuse Governor Fubara of rejecting offer to control river structure when they failed to deal with an individual that is bent on destroying the party? They should go and sleep. But Nelson Alasia, if you listen to that while I read that article, you would have heard the PDP, the factional acting publicity secretary at the national level, say that while Wike was governor, Wike fought, to be leader, and so maybe they are also asking the governor to fight, to show his capacity. I think that's what they meant there. But let's look at this one. This one says, I'm watching from Emilagan, Abua Central, wishing PDP governors a fruitful meeting. The way forward of the party leadership tussle. Okay, Ode Peli goes.
You are tuned in to
He said so. If you'd listened, you would have heard me talk about it. You would have seen the faction of the PDP, the new faction actually. The new faction of the PDP, according to the Tribune newspaper. That's what the article is saying. All right, keep your thoughts coming. 0809 030 6416 is the WhatsApp number. Send me your messages, and you could also call me via WhatsApp. Don't call the line, call via WhatsApp, because if you call via the line, I would not be able to take your calls, right? My goodness. The phone lines are really, really affecting our conversations these days. All right. This one says Damagum with his. So we don't insult people. Ogojun Justice, you know that already, right? We don't go about hauling insults. So I'd like you to reconstruct your message before I can read it. All right. Moving on. Let's see, what other messages do I have on Facebook? Thank God Ability Atuegbu says the genesis of the problem in River State is resources and structure. Okay, all right, thank you nonetheless. Okay, I don't know, with the phone lines, with the current state of the phone lines, can I? Okay, let me attempt to take a call. One last call, let me call it a wrap. 92.3 Nigerian, for your name, please. Yeah, hello, your name, please. What's your name? Okay, you see, the phone lines are really terrible. I can't even make out anything that caller is saying. So I would have to step on the brakes for the time being. Up next will be the business news. After the business news, I'll come back into. I'll be right back, and I'll be speaking with Sidney Barra, hopefully once again, on the show, pending the stability or the strength of the network, the phone network service. And we'll talk about the fate of the PDP. You have an insight into what's happening in the PDP. There's going to be a meeting. There's also the faction saying the governor has not shown political capacity. I wonder what the governor would have to do for the PDP to see has got the political capacity. So this and many more we will talk about when we come back. So please do stay tuned.